This episode of Lords of the Storm is brought to you by our sponsors over at Patreon, where you, yes you, can also support the show. Just head over to patreon.com/Lords of the Storm to become a patron today.
Greetings, mortal. That's kind of frightening.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 68 of Lords of the Storm, the weekly Heroes of the Storm podcast for you, the true Heroes of the Storm. I am your host, Greg Parker, a.k.a. Gizmozord, but you can call me Gizmo. And on this week's episode, it is finally here. The moment we have all been waiting for. Season 1 has begun, ladies and gentlemen. The Zord Lords are giving away loot. You might recognize a familiar face on this week's Brawl with the Blues, and some good old tips from your friendly neighborhood Zord Lords on all the goodness that's entered the game this week. But of course, joining me this evening are some more of the Zord Lords themselves. First up, we have Mr. Kevin Ellis, a.k.a. Multizord, joining us for his final episode of Lords of the Storm for the next 3 weeks. For the next 3 weeks.
You're just trying to freak people out again, man.
We're not going to get rid of him that easily.
It's the last episode. Now, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. No, yes, it is going to be my last episode for a little while. I'm taking 3 weeks off because I'm getting married. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the 25th. And yeah, it's just that, next week is so close to the wedding. I've got a ton of packing to do for my Costa Rica trip over the next 2 weeks after that. So I'm going to be taking a little break from, gaming, podcasting about gaming. I don't really know what I'm going to do with myself, other than go on a big vacation and stuff and blah, blah, blah. It does. It's a terrible fate. The question is, am I going to remember how to play anything when I get back? I really don't know.
Costa Rica.
I don't know if I've gone that long before.
Costa Rica sounds like a beautiful place to visit. I'm jealous of you guys. It should be a good time, right?
Yeah, it'll be a good time, for sure.
We also have joining us, as always, and it's not his final episode for the next 3 weeks. At least not that I know of. Who knows? We could...
That's right.
Not that I know of either, but,
no more babies are coming. Not that we know of again.
They aren't made that fast.
But it's Mr. Ryan Reeder, a.k.a. TBK Zord. TBK, how you doing?
Doing good. This is a good week. This has been a good Heroes week for sure. Lots of stuff coming out and lots of stuff to give away. Some cool stuff coming on Friday. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh, I mean, it's the week we've been waiting for since the game was announced. Technically, like we've been wanting the season 1 role forever, as far as I can remember. So I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's
for sure. Definitely
a breath of fresh air. A lot of people have kind of taken a step back because Overwatch came out, so we've all been playing that. But it's go time in the Nexus, so it's going to be a good. I was going to put a time frame on it, but there's not a time frame. There's no time frame for Heroes. It's going to be a good forever in the Nexus.
It's going to be a good 2 weeks
still.
Until competitive play in Overwatch comes out.
Nah.
I'm kidding. It's going to be good.
What have you guys been up to gaming this week? Multi, have you been squeezing out as much as you can?
In Overwatch, at least, yeah. I actually had my bachelor party over the weekend, so it was a good time. And then the second day, on Saturday, Steven had me pack up my computer and everything. That's Tank Zord. He's one of my co-hosts on the Cavalry. And he threw me off because I thought I was going to go to like a big LAN party nerd fest of sorts for a bachelor party, but it didn't turn out that way. The first day was kind of your more standard, bachelor party stuff. I won't go into too many details on that, but suffice it to say, it took me until 5 p.m. the next day to fully recover from the toxins in my bloodstream and, that sort of thing. But anyway, in that time, while I was not fully functional, we just set up and played Overwatch all day, and it was awesome. It was really a good time to finally sink like a solid day's worth into this game that I love so much. So I'd say Overwatch probably took the most time. I did a lot of Hearthstone too, though. I'm kind of in that weird spot where, again, I'm going to have a week where I'm gone and not playing, so I can't really push this month that hard, but I'm still just having fun, trying out different decks and stuff, so it's a good time.
You can get that sweet, super fast airplane Wi-Fi.
That's right.
Play on the way
Play
over.
It's
there.
actually probably good enough for Hearthstone.
Doesn't
be
it cost
completely
an arm and a
honest.
leg, though?
I think it's like $15, but I mean, how long's a flight down
Really?
to Costa Rica?
I don't think it's that bad, but that might be worth it for
Yeah.
15.
Could be.
I don't know.
For
Huh.
sure. TBK, what have you been up to in gaming?
Lots of heroes. Lots and lots of heroes, actually. Yeah. Weird.
Who does that?
I know. It's crazy. Ever since yesterday, I've just like nonstop unranked draft. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of a big deal. It's pretty awesome. Got a little bit of Medivh play in. He's very interesting, very difficult, and I think he's going to take quite a bit to pull off well. But holy crap! Like when he's on. Like it's
Oh, yeah?
it's so annoying. But yeah, I've been doing that. I don't know if I've been doing a whole lot. I've been getting some Warhammer Total War in. That's a really good game. I've been watching some of the E3 stuff. Not a ton of stuff I'm super excited for. Star Citizen released their patch 2.4, so I've been playing with internet spaceships as well a little bit, and that's been fun.
Excellent. I haven't really been able to follow E3 this year, just because I work a job now where I can't have that on my computer while I'm working. But I'm looking forward to. I was actually going to, after I got home from work today, sit down and watch some of the press conferences, but not yet. I'll get to it this weekend.
I watched all the Pokemon stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the Zelda stuff. It looks
Yeah,
pretty
that's
neat.
good.
Zelda game looks really good.
It better for how long they're freaking taking it. And that's okay. So Zelda, this new Zelda game is the reason I bought a Wii U. I have Mario Kart 8 and then like a couple games it came with, and I've played it, and I have Splatoon. So I've probably played my Wii U, I don't know, little 10 to 15 times, and I'm kind of pissed. But I don't know. It's whatever. But Heroes. I've been having a blast. The unranked draft mode is everything I wanted it to be. It's super awesome to not only be able to practice drafting, which we'll get to later, but just have fun, low-stress games with good compositions. It has been a while since I've experienced that, so lots of fun going on in there. But let's go ahead and get on into the show. TBK, let's kick things off with the store sales we got going on this week. Some interesting stuff.
So this week we've actually got Cho'Gall and the Corruptor Cho'Gall skin, as well as the Insectoid Zagara skin. And as of this last patch, Lunara has been reduced in real money price and in gold down to 7K. So really cool there. And there's also some new bundles in the Nexus that came with this patch as well. We'll go over them when we look at the patch notes or what's left of them. But yeah, you don't see a whole lot of Cho'Galls anymore. I actually did see one in a quick match I was just doing a little bit before the show. He's pretty decent on 2-lane maps still.
Yeah.
You can really pull some good stuff out with him, but it's just so unique, and losing that extra body a lot of times will just hurt you more than it'll help you.
You know, once we get that Haunted Mines back,
Oh, yeah.
he'll
right.
have another map.
That's right.
Really interesting that he's on store sales. I mean, I guess it makes sense. They want to get everyone on there, but it's like, do you find a buddy and be like, hey, there's a sale on Cho'Gall this week. You want to both buy it?
Yeah.
Or is like anyone buy it themselves and then they're just like, oh,
Just hoping someone...
There's probably still like a looking for Cho'Gall channel. Or
yeah.
Well, and that's the other element to it, too, is that since they were free for so long, it's kind of a weird one to even put on sale because, I mean, I've got to think that at least still the majority of people, maybe not majority, but a large number of people just got him for free with the Cho'Gall virus back in the day. So
Yeah, and you might think it may have something to do with Medivh coming out this week. Maybe people who had a little extra cash to spend, maybe they're hoping pick him up with cash or the bundle or something. Who knows? With all the Warcraft movie frenzy stuff going on.
True.
But yeah, we also, man, this week's free hero rotation, super solid, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Multi, what do we got?
Kind of unique, too, in a couple of these. We've got Lily and ETC, Nazebo, Kerrigan, Falstad, Sonya, Greymane at account level 5, Rhaegar at account level 7, Illidan at 12, and Dehaka at 15. And I'm still a Dehaka fan, even though I'm not really pushing to main him anymore, I suppose. But he is wise to put in the 15 slot because I think that maybe you should, if you're a fresh player, probably hit level 15 before you're really trying to nail people with his skill shots and that sort of thing. But super fun to try out. But in terms of solidity, as you were hinting, man, Rhaegar, possibly the best support in the game. Thrown up there with Sonya, who's a really good bruiser. Falstad's incredible. Greymane, Illidan. Like, this is just a solid lineup. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I would really say the only players I would have considered weak would be Kerrigan, maybe Illidan, and Dehaka. However, with this being Medivh week, those are all fantastic heroes that pair up with Medivh because of his
Just
shield
that
and the teleport.
I see that for sure.
I haven't seen the Dehaka tongue somebody go through the portal yet. I really want to.
Let's arrange that. I want to do that. I'll be the Dehaka. It's cool.
Yeah,
Fantastic. But yeah, I'm really, I think, one of the stronger lineups that we've seen, especially with Medivh coming out. Before we get into some quick announcements, we got a little business to take care of. You have been deemed worthy of bearing the Zord title. Welcome to the Zord Lords. Yes, we get to welcome another member into the Zord Lord family, another Freak Zord into the Zord Lord family. However, we already have a Freak Zord, so it's Freak Elite Zord. Welcome. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Thor kind of cheats at this because he has Thor Zord and Freak Zord, so...
Yeah, he does.
If you want
It's
the
not
Freak
fair.
Sword, you got to take it up with him. You can take him. It's not too bad.
You can totally take him. Yeah.
But some quick announcements. If you guys have been following us on Twitter or Facebook, you have probably already seen this, but we are holding giveaways all week on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and even tonight on the live show. After the show, if you guys stick around, we'll be giving away a $20 BattleNet gift card and a Spectre Tracer bundle. But what you can expect throughout the rest of the week are a lot more Tracer Spectre bundles. I believe we have an Asmodunk bundle still available. So check that stuff out. Lots of free stuff going away, and it's super awesome. Especially Tracer, fairly new hero. The Spectre skin is okay.
It's free stuff.
It's free stuff.
I'd take it for free. I don't know if I'm going to get it with gold or money, but
Absolutely. So super excited to be able to do that for you guys. We also have some news. Season 1, as we mentioned, has started. They have released the ranked rewards. So some more portraits. This time, the mount is the Elemental Lizard mount. So it's a nice little Godzilla on all fours.
it's like a Kodo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy. It's so like if you got the Earthbreaker Thrall skin, I think it is. It's basically the same colors as that. It's got the little flamey stuff coming off of it. It's like the Elemental Wolf too, I guess. It's all the same color type.
That would
stuff.
probably look really cool with that Thrall skin.
Yeah, I've been
I haven't
riding.
seen it yet, but
I've been using the Elemental Wolf one with Thrall, and
Yeah.
it looks
really cool.
it looks amazing.
It does.
But it's along the same lines as the preseason rewards as far as rankings and whatnots. Of course, the rankings have changed, but we'll have this link in the patch notes so you guys can check all that stuff out. See what rank you're needing to get in the next 10 weeks in order to unlock those sweet rewards.
the interesting thing. Go ahead.
Oh, you're probably going to say the same thing I was going to say. So you say it. You say your
About
thing.
the team league.
Yep. Go
Okay,
ahead.
What am I missing?
Oh, I don't know. Apparently, if you just place in Team League at all, like even if you start off at bronze, the very bottom, you still get your Elemental Lizard mount. Like not the epic one, but the regular one. So that's incentive for anyone who is struggling to push up to, oh, what is it? I guess Master League is when you get the. Oh no, wait. Okay, it's Platinum.
Plat will get you the regular mount.
Plat will get you the regular. But if for some reason you have trouble getting to there throughout the season, just finish the Team League matches and you get it anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty good incentive.
It's a fantastic idea, to get more people into Team League because, as we've said many times before, that's what Team League needs right now is more teams, which it's a hard thing to do to get 5 people that you're comfortable playing with on a set schedule where you can play these games. But yeah, that's super awesome. We also have Friday, the new Brawl with the Blues coming out with Medivh, and like I said, you guys might recognize a familiar face. If you're watching the live stream, he is up there in the corner, looking a little shy right now. TBK, you don't have to look shy. I'm going to go ahead and let you let people know where they can find you, watch you, and check this stuff out.
Yeah, so guys, I'm going to be on Brawl with the Blues this week.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dang cool. This Friday, June 17th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 Central Time on twitch.tv/BlizzHeroes. We're going to be running about 2 hours of games, doing Medivh stuff, some custom games with Trixler, Stoughton, Sinvicta, and Grubby. So that'll be a ton of fun. Would love for you guys to be able to tune in and catch that if you can.
So that's why you've been playing so much. You've been warming up for this.
I know. I mean, I saw Grubby in there, and I was just like, "Crap! I need to dust all my scrub off." Like, ugh.
A little bit of scrub. What level have you gotten Medivh to?
I'm like level 3 with him. I didn't play him a whole lot yesterday because I was doing a bunch of unranked draft, and so he didn't really come up, or he was getting banned a lot in unranked draft. So didn't get to play him much, but I did some quick matches with him and a training game. I always try to do like an AI game first to kind of check him out. He's got a lot of potential. He really does. And I'm actually really excited for Friday since we'll be running a 5-man with him and then can communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Because that'll be a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Actually, real quickly, let's get some just quick reactions to Medivh. I know you kind of talked about yours at the top, TBK, but I haven't. He's level 4 right now. I've played only 2 quick match games with him, 2-0, surprisingly, because he is. I was a little worried that I thought he was going to be easier than originally thought when I tried him out in the PTR, but he's not. In quick match, it's if you're paying attention, and I mean your team has to be paying attention first off, which is key. But
That's
you can
to struggle with quick match anyway. But
yeah, you can still make some serious plays though. And he is super fun to play at times. In quick match by yourself, you might feel a little useless or bored, but you can just fly around in your Raven, scout out some stuff. I haven't played him in a team composition yet, but I think he's a great hero.
His kit is amazing.
Yeah.
His kit is absolutely insane. He's very fun. I think it'll take a little while for people to get used to the portal thing because that's a completely new mechanic. And so I was using it like if a team fight went bad, I was throwing a portal down. It's just like, guys, click on it. You can get away. That's like a huge teleport, and people are just running past it. And I was just like, what can you do, right? I mean, there's nothing you can do. So it's partially going to be a mindset change from the community as a whole. Is just like, oh, okay, Medivh threw the portal down. It's going off that direction, which is away from the team because they just killed our tank. I probably should click on it, type thing.
Yeah, for sure. I wish I could watch the Brawl with the Blues with you in it this Friday, but unfortunately, it's while I'm sitting behind my desk. Making phone calls. So
we can catch a VOD later, though, I imagine, right? So,
yes.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
All right. So speaking of Medivh, his trailer came out, and
yes, it did.
At the end there, a surprise, maybe not too much of a surprise to some people. We got a little teaser, and I know people have been asking for this, like teasers of the next hero in these trailers or something, and I absolutely love how Blizzard has been doing these. They switch it up all the time for these teasers, and this time it was in the end of the video. It is Guldan. They haven't stated that he is the next hero, but I think it's fairly safe to assume, if not the next, very soon, coming very soon.
I'm guessing the next, only because
Yeah.
it kind of keeps the hype for the movie up as well, and that sort of thing. So, and I mean, we've been wanting him for a long time. I find it interesting though if he comes in, because I don't really know if he's going to be an assassin or a specialist. But if he comes in as a specialist, then that's kind of like a back-to-back specialist, but two completely different like styles as well. So
Well,
it could be interesting.
this leads perfectly into our new topic. We had some discussion in our Discord, some questions about Gul'dan. What would his abilities and stuff be? Like Freak Elite mentioned like a fear ability. I think that he is going to be a support hero.
Oh, really?
And this is going based off of abilities that we saw in the Warcraft movie. So if you haven't seen that, these aren't really spoilerish, but if you're scared of that, skip ahead a little bit. I think he's going to have a heal, like a life drain type heal, to where he can steal steal health from a hero and give it to another. I think he is going to have a buff where he can like infuse somebody with a fel for a few seconds and buff them, kind of like Raynor buff.
Rainer W.
Yeah, Raynor W. So kind of like a short berserk type thing. I don't know what his third ability would be. I don't know what his ults would be, but those two make sense for a support hero, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think.
Now, personally, I don't really want it to be the movie Gul'dan as much as like I kind of want Gul'dan to just be the representative of the warlock class from maybe World of Warcraft, and so that's why I'm thinking maybe more of the like assassin or specialist route. If he's going kind of like an affliction sort of dot damage, maybe specialist, and if he's doing some sort of like destruction version, he could do some burst perhaps and kind of be a mage. But to go off of what Freak Elite was saying, I really think that fear is kind of like the crux of what warlocks have always been in World of Warcraft, at least for me, because that's always been their really interesting form of CC. And it's weird to pull off in a MOBA because like you definitely don't want it to be like how it is in World of Warcraft, where you lose control of your character and then you just wander around randomly. Because in this game, I mean, the 2 seconds that you step a little out of line to the right or left or forward just gets you killed. So, I mean, I've got to think that if they try the fear, they've got to do it in a semi-controlled way. And I'm kind of thinking about, I don't know if you guys remember in League of Legends, the weird fox girl, Ahri, and that charm that she had.
Yeah.
She had the charm where, it was a skill shot to hit it to begin, so you had to land that. But then it gave whoever it hit a predictable path, and they were moving toward you. So, like, maybe the fear could work like that, but in the opposite. Maybe if you get feared, you walk backwards, but in a predictable path, and then thus, allow your teammates to capitalize on it in some way. And naturally, I mean, you're silenced and stuff while this is happening, so that alone would make it good CC. But I don't know, that's. Go ahead.
I could definitely see the fear ability. I almost want to see him. I want to see an undead warlock in this game at some point, because Forsaken Warlock just looks freaking cool. I don't even know if there's like a prominent Forsaken Warlock actual character in the game. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. But I would love to, like, if he's an assassin or even whatever role, like some give and take in his abilities. But for the fear, I could see it being, more of kind of just a stun. Like the animation, and I think in Warcraft, is they kind of hover over and put their hands above their head or something.
And they just cower in place for a second. Yeah,
but maybe like it's a longer stun than normal. However, gives that person like a slight shield or something to offset it, because
Or
the
broken with damage.
Fel magic takes and gives. So I don't know how that mechanic would work, if it would be too weird. But maybe like if he had a damage ability, did a lot of damage, however hurt him a little bit. Like if he hit more than one hero or something.
That might happen for sure. Some sort of like self-damaging hellfire or something.
Or maybe instead of mana, it drains his health. I don't know. Something, I feel like there could be a cool mechanic with the Fell there, regardless of what class he plays. But TBK, you have any thoughts on the Guldan?
I feel like he's going to be an assassin.
Yep.
Just because of the whole warlock thing. I mean, like Multi was saying, this is going to be the first like legitimate warlock in the game. So I feel that's not supporting. Like maybe I could see a specialist maybe, but I'm feeling assassin probably a little more for him. Definitely some sort of life drain ability. That's just kind of Gul'dan's thing. He just sucks your life away.
He just
I
sucks.
would love, yeah. I would love to see an ult have to do with infernals as well.
Yeah.
I think that'd be like summoning an infernal down, maybe like, a pet type ultimate versus some other, like chaos bolt or some, ridiculous thing. I don't remember what it is in WoW. Whatever the thing that can crit for ridiculous amounts
I
of
think
damage
that's Chaos Bolt. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be Chaos Bolt. It's been a long time since I played a WoW Warlock. But yeah, I think he's going to be... I feel like he's going to be damagey just in what he is. I mean, you definitely could make a case for some sort of weirder hybrid-y support that like takes health and then gives or stuff like that. But I feel like just being within the Warlock genre, it's going to probably be some sort of assassin.
All right, so we got an assassin, a support, and
I'll choose specialist. Yeah.
There we go.
Let's play some bets.
He's going to be a
Gonna
tank.
do $5?
I actually,
Yeah, right.
I came up with a heroic for my support role. Some sort of AoE like area like around him, mass life drain where he takes life from any hero within that and disperses it to his team that are in that same area. Bam.
Yeah. I mean, we
I'm
need
I'm stuck on the
We
movie
do.
theme stuff just because I freaking love
So
it.
you enjoyed the movie? Is
I
what you're
did.
saying.
I did.
Yeah,
If you're a Warcraft fan, yeah, go see it. It's
for sure.
You'll enjoy it.
But let's go ahead and move on. TBK, we have some stuff going on in the competitive scene lately. What do we got going there?
I was really excited to talk about this, but and you may have seen, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw me frantically tweeting tons of things this morning because the last of the initial stages ended and we're moving into the actual legitimate group stages, and holy crap, like, go find the VODs. So Gale Force Esports, this was the big thing this morning. They had 2 sets. Both sets were absolutely fantastic. Probably some of the most enjoyable games of Heroes I've ever watched. Dread and Kalaris were casting some of them, which I love the pairing of them. They do a really good job, and it was just absolutely insane. Big Gods was defeated, and it basically came down to Please Buff Arthas and Gale Force Esports. And I believe Please Buff Arthas is Taiwan, the Taiwanese team. And Gale Force wiped the floor with them the first match. Like it looked like it was going to be a really easy thing. No biggie. But then the second match, they came back and just with some insane play. And then the third match was literally like biting my nails. It was so back and forth. Like my heart, guys, just couldn't take it. I couldn't take the pressure because we know a lot of these guys on Gale Force, and we've had 2 of them on the show. They're really great group of guys. It's a fairly new team, but there's just so much talent. Freaking Crowan on his Li Ming just is mind-blowing to watch. It's so much fun. But sadly, Gale Force fell at the very end to a core backdoor.
Oh, wow.
And Please Buff Arthas moved on to the group stages. Seriously, guys, I mean it. Go find the VODs of these. You can check the Heroes of the Storm subreddit. and I think they've got links and stuff to the VODs there. CSD's been really good about posting those, but man, it was a heartbreaker because that was a really big NA team. A lot of people had really big hopes. Mistakes were made.
Mistakes
But
were made.
mistakes were made, but it was still some of the best heroes I've ever watched. This whole event has been actually run really well. We were making mention of that. ESL ran the last NA regional pretty dang well. The 2 days over the weekend, the match times have been quick. The time between games and sets has been very short. They spread the games out over several days. I mean, they've been doing everything really well, and it's made it a lot more enjoyable to watch. But so the group stages now, we're into the final 8. Group A is going to be Please Buff Arthas, E-Star Gaming, Team Naventic, our last hope for NA, and MVP Black. So a very, very rough group for sure.
Very stacked.
Group B is X-Team Tempest, who were actually the ones that wiped MVP Black just recently, and then both the European teams, Team Dignitas and My Insanity. So really good groups. Guys, we're just going to have to be pulling for Naventic. Like, help us, Naventic. You're our only hope.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I don't... I want them to do well. I don't even have a prediction of how I think they're going to do. It's just, based on the last Worlds that we had, it's not looking good being in that group. But you know what? The NA scene overall right now I think is looking really good. Like I said,
Better than it did last time.
For sure. Like there's not, the top
sure.
2 teams or whatever anymore. It's more like, Naventic, you could say, is still the top team, and then there's like 3-4 teams vying for that second spot right now. So it's really exciting to watch. Gale Force, my favorite team to watch. I think their games are super exciting. I think they're only going to get better. But they
have a lot of
they're
players
not
with
done,
good personality.
Yeah,
on their team. It's a fun team to watch and a fun team to follow.
But
so they said they're coming back for BlizzCon, guys. So keep cheering them on. Definitely check them out. They're a lot of fun. So those games will be played the rest of the week. The Heroes of the Storm subreddit, again, it was my community content shout out last week, but it's got all the information on times for matches and everything. So definitely go check that out if you're interested. For NA, it is pretty early in the morning. But if you can do it, if you can check it out, it's definitely worth it. This is Heroes at the highest level. And so you can learn a lot from watching these guys and watching these games. So if you get the chance and you're up for improving yourself, it will definitely help.
Yeah.
Is there any way I can get a job where I just watch these? Like, could that be? I guess I could get into esports.
You could talk to Josh.
Yeah, I'll talk to Josh. I don't know, because
we had him.
Greg,
we had him as a guest. An episode or 2 ago, and he actually works for an esports, Score Esports. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. He's got it figured out. Secondly, we wanted to shout out the Heroes Amateur scene, because the Heroes Amateur scene is awesome. And if you guys have not checked into it, there's a whole ton of tournaments. If you've got a team and are looking to get into some competitive Heroes, Heroes has got a huge amateur scene. It's growing. It's fantastic. You've got Chair League, of course, and that's got your weekly games. But then a lot of tournaments, organizations have come together. So we have like the Sweet Synergy tournament that's put on. We have the Heroes Hype that's normally on Wednesdays. We have the Random CS tournaments, and then the Divergent Gaming tournaments. And all these separate tournaments have actually come together to form this new system called Heroes United. And we actually should have a guest next week that's going to be talking a lot more about that in depth, so I won't go too far into that. Just want to get out there that's a thing. It's really cool. It's awesome that we've got such an amazing amateur community that is really pulling all this stuff together. And so basically, if you compete in these 4 tournaments, you get points. and those go towards the Heroes United tournament that's happening July 13th. And that will actually be for a prize pool. And the cool thing about this is this prize pool is being crowdfunded, at least to an extent. All the big organizations are contributing money towards it, but then you can crowdfund, you can get rewards kind of like Kickstarter. If you fund this thing, we'll have the link in the show notes, but it's up to $1,450 right now. So that is really dang cool. The winning team will walk away with 70% of the prize pool, and then 20% and 10% for second and third, respectively. But we actually talked amongst ourselves, and we were like, this is a really cool idea. So we're actually sponsoring this tournament as well, because we just love the Heroes amateur scene. And so if you get a chance, definitely check that out and support it. It's a really cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to be able to check that stuff out, and super excited for our guest next week to get a little bit more in depth on that. We did have some patch notes come out this week with the release, and really not a ton of changes from the PTR patch notes that we discussed last week. However, performance changes. There have been significant improvements made to the stability of the frame rate in all game modes, which is good. I know there's people that were having trouble with the frame rates. I don't know if this is people had their hacks or whatever, their fixes to increase their frame rate. Is this supposed to fix that stuff to where you can change all your settings back to normal?
I believe so. I would say the best thing to do is, because the patch notes actually point out stability of the frame rate in all game modes, play around with your settings again and see if you can, bump it up some. You might be able to now. I've actually been noticing some significant frame increases in game without touching anything. So that's good, because as we all know, the Heroes engine, which is running on the old or a modified version of the old StarCraft engine, was not necessarily the most stable of engines with regard to frame rate before. I mean, if you go on the Blizzard support forums, there's always a ton of stuff like, frame rates, my frame rate sucks. Why does this suck? Everything sucks. And so everything should suck less now.
Yes.
So,
I noticed it. I really noticed the difference. I'd signed on, and I actually just fixed a lot of my graphics issues with Overwatch recently, and I logged onto a game today, and I was like, it's like I've fixed it over here too. What the heck? I didn't do anything, but no, it was this change, and I definitely noticed it for sure. It's cool.
Yeah, so the frame rate sucks less, which means you should suck less, because now you have more time to actually react and get out of stuff instead of wondering where the heck you're standing currently. There's also been improvements made to game performance versus AI games, and as we thought, once again, you cannot. There's an AFK detection in training mode, so
That's right.
for all of you out there just boosting those heroes, cheating,
wah.
no more.
No more free vulture mounts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that still going on? Can you do that?
I think so.
Vulture bit?
I think
Yeah.
that's just a recruiter friend thing.
Excellent. There have been some new bundles added in the shop. The Night Owl Medivh bundle, of course, coming out with him. Fairly cool skin, some cool skin tints on it. I got it. But that master skin.
The master skin looks awesome. Someone
Pretty cool.
posted a picture on Twitter of the Owl Medivh skin and the owl dude from the Rick and Morty TV show, and now I can't get that out of my head. Every time I think of the owl skin, it just looks like that. So anybody who watches Rick and Morty, you'll get that.
All right. We also got the Multiverse bundle and the Ultimate Multiverse bundle, and these are all available until June 28th. So if you're wanting to hop in there and get those, grab them before they're gone.
It was actually originally the Ultimate Multi-Zord bundle, but I sued them for copyright.
Excellent.
So,
which is, how we were able to
That's right. That's how we're
buy
able to give
ketchup
away
packets, right,
so much
Multi?
stuff.
that's right. Non-stop ketchup.
All the ketchup packets. All right, so now we want to take some time with the new modes and stuff, hopping in unranked draft mode, the new season officially starting with the new system, just to kind of talk on some basics and stuff. For those of you who may have not played much Hero League just because of either the state it was in, didn't want to hop in there. Because, it was pretty intimidating going from a quick match straight to a drafting mode that's tied to a ranked system. However, now, with unranked draft mode, which once again is awesome and everything I was wanting it to be, there's a fantastic place to practice, prepare yourself for the ranked play. So first thing we want to do is just talk some basic tips for drafting. If you've never done that, who do you ban, who bans, what picks do you make, when do you make them? So I guess, first off, the person with the top MMR on your team is going to be in charge of making those bans. That does not mean they're going to be first pick, though, which is
Awkward?
yeah,
It is a little awkward.
It's a little awkward.
it requires just more communication on your team now, which you should have anyways. So first thing that you want to do when you get in there, hover a hero that you want to play, click on it so your team can see, you can discuss, you have a nice little timer, I think it's 45 seconds for that first ban. So kind of gets your ideas going. I'm going to say...
Communicate,
Yes.
communicate.
As the game stands right now, if you are first ban, first pick, and you're a guy that's picking first doesn't want to play Kael'thas, just go ahead and ban Kael'thas. For now, at least.
Yeah, we should clarify. This is all going to be basically based on how it is now. There are going to be people that tune into this like a year from now and be totally lost. Maybe Kael'thas is the worst hero in the game at that point. He cycles in and out. So yeah, just take that all with a grain of salt. But
Yeah, it's typically going to be that first pick, one of the carries, or your
right.
hero that you're wanting to build your composition around. Strong hero
So
in the game if
basically-
you're playing.
Keep track, just as a general suggestion, keep track of the very strong heroes. If you do watch a lot of the pro scene, if you are if you're playing Hero League, you obviously care a little bit, right? So just kind of keep track, especially watching what other people ban too. Find the patterns. You can check HOTS logs to see win rates. Very, very high win rate heroes overall, for the most part, are decent ban targets. So right now, Illidan is banned a lot. Kael'thas is banned a lot. Tracer
Rhaegar.
maybe banned. Rhaegar maybe banned. So there's a lot of it. Just it'll fluctuate as things go. So just kind of keep up with that. There's a lot of avenues you can do to kind of figure out who's really strong right now and who's not, and order matters, right? So in this case, say your first pick, first ban, because the first ban always gets the first pick as well. If you have a hero that your team wants to play, a very strong hero, don't ban that out right away. Make the other team ban it. Ban something else, because if they don't ban it, then you get that first choice to lock in that person or that hero that might be very strong right now. So
But unless
order
you're
matters.
unless you're in Team League though, and you can choose who picks which character in which order though, like Hero League or this new unranked draft, you have to also make sure that whoever's up first can actually play that hero. Because
Yes,
if you
and that's why communication is key.
right. Because yeah, if you leave KT up right now and don't ban him in your first pick, and then you go around and don't pick him, and they haven't banned him, they're gonna pick him. They'd be pretty unwise not to. So something to think about.
Yeah, for sure. So after the order is going to go ban, first pick, and then the other team is going to get 2 picks. These 2 picks, things can. There's a couple different things you can do. A lot of people, pick their carry, their main assassin, and then either another assassin a lot of times, or a lot of times they'll pick up their a support or a tank, depending on which kind of route they're going. And this is fairly important because after you make those 2 picks, the other team is going to get 2 picks, and then the next ban phases start before you get your 3rd and 4th pick. And if you do not have one of your supports or tanks, most likely you're going to see not only the team pick up their tank, but they're going to probably ban out or support the next, highest regarded support or tank. So if you don't pick one of those up right now, you're taking a little bit of a risk. But again, depending on what your team's decided, what direction you want to go composition-wise, it still can work out. But on the same token, that team, you now have an advantage because that team has 3 heroes shown, and you can do the same thing, ban a tank or support if they haven't picked that, or you kind of can start to see a picture of the composition they're wanting to go, a dive comp, a caster comp, and ban accordingly to that. See a hero that they're possibly wanting to pick up, and make a better educated ban, to whereas they only have 2 heroes to look at. And then from there, it's kind of, just filling out the rest of your team. You don't have to worry about those bans. But yeah, be flexible. Very, very flexible. Communicate a lot, and really, excuse me. Go ahead. Like if you watch esports, it's a great place to learn how to draft and ban, what heroes to draft and ban at any given time. That's really what I learned from before I hopped into Hero League, because again, we didn't have that draft mode. So, do you guys have any other tips for the drafting as far as that goes?
Well, all right. When you start off, how do I put this? Like the pro scene is a good one to watch for sure, but sometimes because they're on a different level from us, it doesn't always translate quite so well down at our level. So that's something to think about as well. Kind of get a feel for like how the matches have been going around your level as well, to see what people at your rank think is strong, and kind of feel that out as well. Just something to think about. But yeah, we have stressed it so many times, but the reason we keep doing it is communication is so important, especially in this unranked mode, where it's probably tempting to just kind of hover over your hero, hope you get it, and let that be that. But if you get too locked in on one hero in particular, and you don't get to pick it due to either the enemy team picking it or some kind of ban going on or something like that, then yeah, you've got to be flexible, and you've got to communicate. Don't just hover over. Say even just a little something like, I don't know, I'm pretty good at tanking, or just one quick little thing to get the ball rolling, get people's minds, and at least the mindset that you're serious about this game, even if it's an unranked one, for sure.
Yeah, and I'll kind of jump off of that too. Like we keep saying, communication, positive communication.
That too,
guys.
yes.
This is a huge deal, because negative communication can actually completely ruin your game. It can completely ruin your chances. And not only that, as often as is possible, communicate in pings. Do not communicate in words. It is much easier and much faster to ping than it is to type. And sometimes when you start typing something, other people start typing things, and your team is just sitting there while they're typing, and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and that can give the other team a huge advantage if they are using pings and not typing. So if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Like, you can think it. You can say it out loud if you want to, until we have voice chat. Then don't even say it out loud. But right now, you can say it out loud if you want to. But don't type it. It just inflames other people. It will spoil your game flow. And it can very much prevent comebacks even, because people are being discouraged, or they're getting angry and wanting to retaliate against you.
Yep.
I will say you can type when you're dead if you have some strat stuff, but I TBK am one of those bad people that if somebody starts typing and being negative, I get sucked into responding to them and trying to put them in their place. And generally when that happens, I'm not paying attention to the screen, and there comes 2 members of the enemy team, and I'm dead. Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle. Like, it just feeds into itself, and that's why it's so bad. Positive communication whenever you can. If someone comes in, gets a good gank, gets a good kill, throw in a like GJ for good job, or NJ for nice job, or something like that, or nice kill. Just any positive encouragement will go a long way. It really will.
You can actually watch their confidence build off of that in some games. Like sometimes you congratulate someone on even something small, and you can just tell that they're super on their game and really like stutter stepping well and all this stuff, and yeah, you can actually visibly see that change in your allies sometimes when you do that.
But back to drafting a little bit here. So what we talked about right now applies to unranked drafting. And I just want to go off what TBK said, being flexible. A lot of people go in there with their hero hovered. They don't want to change from that. That can be okay in some cases, if it's not necessarily the strongest hero against their team, as long as you're not screwing up your team composition. Remember, this is unranked draft mode. It's a place to practice these drafts. It's a place to, practice some heroes that you want to practice. However, not in order to, purposefully put your team at a disadvantage. If you just want to specifically play that hero, go to Quick Match. That is still there. That is exactly what that place is for.
That said, if you are just really that good at a particular hero, try to at least talk it out with your team. Because again, maybe there's someone who just fell in love with Chromie so hard that Chromie's all they play. If you're that person and you get in the chat, just say something like, hey, look, I'm a Chromie main. Can I get someone to peel for me? We'll be fine. And then you just land all your skill shots and you win. That's totally fine in my book. You at least prepare people for something like that.
And just don't get mad if somebody picks something that fits with the, tank support, 3 assassin, 2 assassin, 1 specialist role. Like we had a Nova on our team, a last pick Nova. Ranked play, I probably wouldn't be super excited about having Nova on my team, but I'm okay with that in the unranked. TBK picked a Murky, which, granted, in some cases in Hero League, I'm absolutely fine with that still. But it can be scary seeing a Murky on your team in a draft. So just, keep in mind what unranked draft mode is for. It's not the serious play. If you're wanting to do that, well, then you can take your next step into Hero League. And, these same drafting techniques apply, minus the, oh, I really want to play this hero. He's still an assassin. That's the role I can play. Now you want to keep in mind, hey, their entire team counters this hero that I really want to play. Probably want to try and pick something else. And then really the only changes for drafting techniques switching to Team League now is you don't have to worry about that order, as in, okay, my first pick doesn't want to play KT, so I have to ban KT. Now anyone on your team can choose KT first. As long as you're wanting to play him, somebody on your team, you don't need to ban him. So it opens things up a little more, and honestly, it's a lot easier because, 1, you can make picks out of order, and 2, you're most likely in some sort of voice comms or something with your team, so it's a lot easier to discuss these things out. So really, you practice in unranked draft in Hero League, it's just going to set you up for success in Team League.
Yeah, for sure. And jumping off that too, some people don't know, there are some restrictions as far as that goes.
Yes.
Unranked draft does not have any restrictions except you have to have at least 14 heroes. The 10 free heroes every week are included in that, though, so you don't have to have a ton, but there is that small limitation to play unranked draft. You can also play unranked draft with anywhere from 1 to 5 people, whereas in Hero League, it's only 1 or 2. Team League, of course, again, does not have the restrictions except for those 14 heroes. But Hero League is a little more restrictive. You've got to have the 14, and you have to have at least 14 at level 5. You can only play a hero in Hero League if it's at level 5. And so moving off onto that, I highly, highly recommend, before you go into Hero League, try and make sure that you know at least 2 of each role fairly well.
For sure.
Because that can make a huge difference between your team, because you are inevitably going to get to that draft and this person says, I can only play tanks. I can only play tanks, and that's all I can play, guys. And it's just like, well, crap, we need heals now, and these guys have already picked.
Or
crap,
the tank's the first pick, and then you throw away your opening for KT or someone like that, you know.
Yeah, and so it's just like, well, and then you don't want to go into panic mode and be like, oh, crap, I don't know any supports, and I'm the last one to pick, and I have to pick a support, and this is really gonna let my team down because I'm not that good. Try, especially now that we have unranked draft, try and learn at least 2 heroes of every role decently, because then you'll always be prepared for just about every situation in which you need to fill, because usually that last person will end up filling. Like that's just kind of the way it works if you're in Hero League, solo, or duo queue, because let's be honest, people are selfish and they want to play what they want to play. And if they pick ahead of you, there's really nothing you can do about it. Hopefully you got good communication. Hopefully they're willing to listen. But if not, then you have to be prepared for that eventuality. So try and make sure you know at least 2 of everything, and then you can kind of branch out from there. But as long as you have a decent core, you should be pretty good.
We used to have a running joke when we played League of Legends where we'd load into a game, and in League, in just I don't know, it's not called quick match, but, their standard unranked mode, people would just kind of type out whatever role they want. I want mid, I want top, I want AD carry. And every time I would say, fill or feed. Like, I'm either going to fill the role and round out the team, or I'm going to just dive for their core the entire time. So there you go. Fill or feed.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say about this, with going into drafting more into the ranked play and stuff, and we said this on our very first episode, play those free heroes of the week, level them up to 5 if you don't have them.
Yes.
Not only
it's
one.
Gold too.
Yeah, it's gold, and again, like we've stated again, first show and several shows since then, it's the best way to improve yourself. You learn how to play that hero if you need to play them in ranked mode, and you learn how to play against that hero. So, definitely do that, and it's only going to expand your hero pool to where you have to purchase less heroes in order to get yourself into that ranked play. But talking about ranked play, we want to move on to some tips, tricks, strategies for ranked play. The biggest step initially was getting yourself prepared for that draft, but now that we have that or unranked draft mode, that's step number 1 for both. Get yourself comfortable with that. Try all the things we just said. Try your own things. Maybe you'll find something that works as well. And then, you'll probably want to start in Hero League. I would recommend trying to duo queue, especially as,
Yes.
Your first 10 games are very important, are going to determine where you are placed, and it's just so much better, at least for those initial 10, to be able to go in there with somebody. One, it's less scary hopping into there to play against angsty teenagers who are going to yell if things aren't going their way. You have someone there to back you up. Only when they're dead,
teenagers.
though. Only typing when you're dead. And you can at least work out a 2-hero comp or something like that and work together. Let your team know if you have 2 people in a party. Like, say, hey, me and so-and-so are in voice comms. Either we're going to lane together, we're running this combo. Just let them know that, you're going to have some better communication going on. That way that, they can kind of be expecting stuff. Get your placement games done, and then from there, I would still personally recommend duo queuing. However,
Probably.
yeah, you're more open to solo queuing there. Do you guys have any tips for Hero League specifically?
Oh, definitely do not solo queue in the placement matches, because I did my first one as solo, and I got in there, and man, I'm like, I got Vala, who I'm pretty decent on, and our team comp was pretty good, and I felt pretty good. But no, I think if I had had even one other person on the team that understood how the objectives work on Battlefield of Eternity, we would have been fine. Because it was still kind of close, but we lost. Mm-hmm. And yes, there was a toxic ETC on our team, so that was another problem. He was typing while alive.
He was turned up to 11.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But yeah, now when it comes to, you'd hinted to the fact that you can kind of break the duo queue a little bit afterwards. Obviously, it's still optimal to have one, but what I know from the Hearthstone ladder is that a lot of times you can push your way up simply by playing more games. So let's say you even have like a 55% win rate in Hero League, that sort of thing in this game, you're still going to go up. You might dip down a little bit, you might climb up a little bit, but overall your gradual trend is going to be upward. And I mean that's certainly one way to get that epic elemental lizard at the end of the day. So that's why, like, yes, it would be nice to have someone that I could just chain to my hip and play with, maybe choke all style the whole time. But I think if I'm going to be trying to push for the mount or wherever I'm going with this, there's going to be some times where I'm going to have to solo queue, and the only way you can improve upon that is just improve your own play, really. If stuff happens, you just can't get tilted. Like when that ETC got really toxic, I too probably shouldn't have typed back to him as much as I did. But yeah, so that's one thing to think about.
Yeah, I think piggybacking off that, don't feel like once you've hopped into rank mode, that is the mode you have to play. It's all ranked all the time.
That's true too,
Warm
yeah.
yourself up with a few unranked draft mode games. If you're having a bad night, take a break, go back to quick match, have some fun. You don't want to be playing if you are on tilt because you're just going to play worse. If you're having a good night, play some more. But yeah, TBK, you got anything?
Yeah, just kind of going off what you guys said. The big thing that I like to pound home for Hero League players, especially if you're looking to get better, are the game stages. It's very crucial, and I still see this a lot in the games I play. Objectives are very important. Don't ignore objectives. There's very, very few maps and very, very few objectives you can ignore and not be punished for it. There is one or two the first time, like maybe the initial Punisher on Infernal Shrines is not super strong or whatever, but in general, objectives are very important. Make sure you're with your team when you do it. Don't run ahead. Always stay grouped up. This is a team brawler. Being with your team is super, super important. Know your power spikes. This is so huge. Your level, you're 4, you're 7, you're 10, you're 13, you're 16, and you're 20.
Also, try to know their power spikes.
Yeah.
Throw that
Don't
in.
fight a talent tier down. Unless you have a numbers advantage, the enemy will automatically have a significant advantage over you. Skill notwithstanding. It's very risky. It's something you have to do sometimes, but if you can at all avoid it, don't do it, especially level 10. Fighting down your ultimates is something that will 90% of the time end in disaster for your team. So be sure to be aware of that. And at the same time, be aware of that. And if you are in the lead, if you do have those talent tier advantages, force those fights. Putting yourself in a favorable situation where the enemy is down talent tiers is really good for you as well. And early game, make sure you're soaking. I mean, this game doesn't have near as much of a lane phase as a lot of the other MOBAs out there, but soaking lanes, especially pre-10, is extremely important because that's what will really get you to those power spikes. You'll take out some towers, you may take out a fort, but early on the majority of your XP is going to be coming from those lane minions. So make sure that you have presence in every lane. Make sure that if you're, like, say, in the middle, a dual lane in the middle, and the person on top gets killed, one of you guys go top. Keep that soak going until the person gets back. I mean, it's super important to make sure you're getting that XP in when you need it. So, I mean, that's mainly the thing. And then once you're past a certain point in the game, especially end game, that level 16 and beyond, especially stay with your team. Like, I've had so many losses where one person is just kind of off doing their own thing without telling anybody. It's just like, oh, I'm just going to go get this mercenary camp. It's like, well, that normally would be good, but the objective's up right now, and
Right.
all of them are there, and we need to stop them or they're going to get this curse, And so your team fights 4v5 and loses. They lose the curse. You're all dead, but you've got those two giants pushing top lane while your keep dies and your towers die, and it's just one of those things. Stay with your team. It's very strong. Let your tank go in first. That's also very key. Don't be the healer or the squishy out in front. And hopefully, if you have a tank worth anything, they'll know it. They'll be doing their job. They'll be out in front. They'll be peeling for you.
Face checking bushes for you. All that.
Yeah, checking bushes for you. Or if you have vision, make sure you use your vision abilities to check the bushes instead of face checking. That's always another really good tip. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it sounds common sense, but it's a lot of things you can forget in the heat of the moment. So be aware, be training yourself to watch for those moments, be training yourself to look at the mini map, see who of the enemy team is visible. If 4 people are missing, you're like pushed out in your bottom lane, maybe you should back up a little bit because a gank might be coming. You never know. You don't know where these people are. If all 5 of the people are missing and there's a boss on the map, they might be at the boss. And so it's just a lot of stuff like that. Be sure to be aware of your mini map, be aware of your surroundings, and honestly, you'll get caught out a lot less, and it'll allow you to play safer because no matter what you're doing, if you die, you're not helping anybody else. Mm-hmm. So you just be super careful on that. And then finally, if you lose, go back and watch your replays and see what you did wrong. And I mean, it could be that you didn't even do anything wrong and it was just a sucky team comp or some person that was just off doing their own thing. But I guarantee you, if you watch your replays, there's always something you can learn. There's always something you could have done better. And if you don't watch that, if you don't acknowledge it, then you'll never be able to keep working on it. Whereas if you go back, you see it, then you can be like, oh, man, okay, in this situation, I was way far ahead because I'm Rhaegar and I like to be overly aggressive, but that was really dumb because I was out way ahead of the tank and that's how I got picked off, and then my team lost the team fight because of it. So it's stuff like that. It's really good to catch those things. It's more time consuming for sure to go back and do stuff like that, but if you want to improve, that's probably one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And there's one last thing I want to touch on before going into Team League here. And I was reminded by something somebody said in chat. TBK kind of discussed how, having 2 of each role ready for ranked play, that's not as much of a big deal in unranked. But, getting into this hero league where things are serious, that's whenever you want that. So have that list of heroes that you play well, that you can feel comfortable filling whatever role that's needed. In RT Wizard, makes a good point. With learning these heroes and stuff to prepare for this, don't be afraid to, go to YouTube, ask questions.
Right.
There are a ton of resources out there. Heroes Fire, there's builds, HOTS logs, you can look at the stats for builds. There's so many great resources. But yeah, going on into Team League, again, it's kind of funny. Things are going to get easier, however, harder, because it's just harder to play Team League because you have to have 4 other people.
Well, and it's more coordinated.
Yes.
And,
so again, first step for getting into Team League, find some friends that play heroes. Find a community that plays heroes. Hint, hint, the Lords of the Storm Discord. We have a great community there where you can start playing with people, find people you're comfortable playing with. You synergize well. You'll find people in a large enough community that are available the same nights you are. And it doesn't have to be just 5 people. It can be 5, 10 people that, all play well together, and you can rotate people in and out depending on who's available. And also, if you're watching the video show, don't mind me staring into your soul, my frozen webcam. I am staring into your soul.
It stopped at the perfect time. I'm sorry. It's so great.
Oh,
Don't
man.
change it. Don't fix
Yeah.
it.
I couldn't even fix it if I wanted to at this point. But yeah, and I completely lost my train of thought. But find that community. That's going to be the hardest part. You're comfortable in Hero League. You have got everything down. You've got your heroes down. You've been working on the drafting, which again is going to be easier. You've been working on your play style, your just everything building up to this. Now it's time to find a team, talk about compositions, that sort of stuff. So once you find the team, talk about compositions, just like I just said. Find roles. This is when you can really narrow that list that you had for Hero League down into, okay, when I'm playing Team League with these people, I am either main tanking, off tanking, like flex role, support, specialist. You can really kind of master your craft to play to the best of your ability to help your team win. But when I say the games are going to be easier because you practice these things, at the same time, you're going against another team who has practiced all of this stuff. So the matches are going to be more difficult. You really do need to be on your A game. You really do have to communicate, because if you're not communicating, you can bet your butt the other team is, and they're going to make you pay for it. But again, don't let that frighten you. The game is meant to have fun. Hop in, try it out. There's no reason, if you don't have those 5 people, to not play Team League. It's how the game is meant to be played at its highest level, and it's meant to be fun still.
At least get your placement out of the way.
Yeah,
Get that free mount.
Get the free mount.
Yeah, for sure.
Multi, you have any tips that transfer over to Team League specifically?
For sure. I would say that Team League is probably the closest thing we have to running like a raid night, as you see in World of Warcraft. And I draw the comparison because I think it would be wise to, if you're sitting down with a team that you want to take, semi-seriously, set aside a night, set aside a couple hours, say everyone happens to be free, Wednesday nights, or, well, probably not Wednesday nights, right? Because you're watching our stream live, 9 p.m. Central. But no, seriously, find a night that works for everybody, or however you guys want to work it out, and then just commit to at least the one night per week. Just kind of get the rhythm going, and then if you do well, if you're enjoying the team, just having a good time, obviously you can expand that, try to find more times that fit for everybody. So yeah, I mean, and obviously this is way easier than trying to get together a full raid night of World of Warcraft, so that's not so bad. You only have 4 other people to contend with, but yeah, I would think that'd be the way to do it, is to really set some time aside and give it a shot.
Yeah, TBK.
I mean, there's not a whole lot more to say than you guys said. That's exactly what you need to do. It's same tips, same tricks, but finding a group of people that you mesh with and getting some dedicated time to play together, because that's all you got to do. Don't be discouraged if you guys lose your first few times playing. It can take a little bit of time to gel. It can. And so it's good to test it out, make sure you get along, make sure everybody is playing their roles correctly, be encouraging, and be helpful where you can. As long as everyone's striving to improve, I mean, that's where it needs to be. That's where it's at.
Yeah, toxicity in Team League is super awkward. Like, don't even try that. Even if you're thinking about it, don't carry over your regular, like, quick match toxicity into this, because a team's not going to stick together very long.
Yeah, that's the quickest way to break up a team. But, that being said, be okay to criticism in Team League.
That too.
And,
constructive criticism.
Yeah, constructive criticism. And this is going to depend, or, completely depend on the team you're playing with. Some teams might go in it, you may put together a team that's more just about the fun aspect. That's okay. You may put together like a team that wants to get serious and still have fun, and have the shot caller role, and then if you're getting on that type of team, make sure you can handle that constructive criticism. Don't get down on it. It's just trying to improve so that same mistakes don't happen, and next time you turn that game around and win.
Well, yeah, and you all want the same thing. You
Yeah.
all want to win. So that's the
Yep.
goal. If you see something in someone else that you can improve, constructively criticize them. It's cool as long as it's all kept civil.
The last thing I want to touch on here, I'm just going to pull it straight off of BattleNet because it's some bullet points that are fantastic. And again, we'll have this link with all the Season 1 information in the show notes. But it just, letting you know, hey, what ranked play should I choose? Well, choose Hero League if you want to start playing ranked right now. You don't mind riding in a battle with random players, and you want the rewards that are exclusive to ranked play. Choose Team League if you're ready to take on the greatest challenge the game has to offer. You have a reliable group of friends ready to tear it up in the Nexus, and again, really want those exclusive rewards or just that mount. Because again, just got to get through those 10 placement games, and you get your Elemental Lizard mount, which is awesome.
Well, the greatest challenge is scrimming against pro teams and like tournament play, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
well,
that's
the next greatest challenge.
That's what they want Team League to be.
yes.
Indeed. And maybe it will. Maybe it will.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking the right steps in order to get it there. The next thing that needs
sure.
to happen is those hero swaps, and we'll see. That's going to do it about for our tips and tricks for ranked play drafting. If you guys have any other questions, shoot them to us in Discord, Twitter, Facebook, email, wherever, and we'll, make sure if you feel we missed something to touch on it next week. But TBK, what do you got for your community content shout out?
So this week, community content shout out is a really cool video TGN Squadron actually released, and I don't know if you've never heard of TGN Squadron. This is like a group of content creators that do content creation for all sorts of games, including MF Pallytime. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of him, but TGN Squadron actually released this Season 1 is Here, Heroes of the Storm Squadron montage video. And it's actually really cool. It's about 5 minutes long, and it's footage from Heroes from the tech alpha days all the way through currently, just, fun plays. And it's really fun to go back and watch and just kind of see how the heroes have evolved, see how the interface especially has evolved since the game just came out. And it's a little nostalgic. It's a lot of fun. So the link will be in the show notes. Be sure to check that out.
It's pretty funny, too. I love it when they see that Abathur right by the core, and they just go nuts. It was a good time.
Oh, Abathur. Well, guys, that's about going to wrap it up for this week's show. Multi, why don't you go ahead and tell people how we can be reached?
We can be reached in-game, certainly, by typing /join space LOTS. And we're on Twitter, @Lords of the Storm, where you can also find a sticky to our Discord. It's a chat service for voice and text chat, and there's a lot of people in there. So join us there, get some Team League games going for sure. Also, we are on Facebook at facebook.com/Lords of the Storm podcast. You can send us emails with questions at lordsofthestorm@outlook.com, and we're on twitch.tv/Lords of the Storm live Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central. I feel like I already said that once this episode, but whatever. And of course, we're also part of the Zord Network at www.zordnetwork.com. And one other thing you can do to help out the show is leave us any sort of reviews out there, but preferably good ones, 5-star iTunes, positive Stitcher reviews, that sort of thing. That's always a huge help, and we appreciate and read those out when we get them. And we really do appreciate any of our patrons on patreon.com/Lords of the Storm, because you guys just mean the world to us and make all of this sort of thing possible. It makes our donating to the tournament possible, and the up-and-coming Lords of the Lane next month, by the way, is when we're doing that again. My wedding kind of threw that off a little bit, but, it's going to be a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can also find us individually. You can find me on Twitter @Gizmozord and on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gizmozord. You can also find me on Convert to Raid Presents, the new format for Convert to Raid, covering all things Blizzard news. The main show you can be found on Twitch at twitch.tv/ConvertToRaid on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Central. And then, just keep your eye on that feed, because we have a ton of little bits, whether it be an esports tournament wrap-up, a Warcraft movie review, lots of different things. So lots of good content coming from that feed. Just keep your eye on it. Multi, where can you be found?
I'm on Twitter at Multizord, and I'm also on another show called The Cavalry, which is about Overwatch. And that's on Twitter at The Cavalry Show.
And TBK?
You can find me on Twitter at TBKZord or on twitch.tv/TBKZord, where I stream and cast Chair League, usually Mondays and Thursday nights. And of course, Brawl with the Blues this Friday. And I might even be casting the DG Open on Friday. So,
nice.
All right.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. But that's, again, I mentioned that in the Heroes United stuff. That's one of the tournaments that is for them. So definitely check that out. Support that if you can.
All right. And we also want to give a special thanks to our patron producer, Ouroboros Zord, for helping support the show. That's going to do it for this week. Don't forget, if you guys are in the live audience, we'll be doing giveaways immediately following this show. Until next time, we'll see you guys in the Nexus. Hopefully some ranked play in undraft mode. Until then, bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.